Let me bring in my next set of guests as we discuss the politics of River State. I like to call it the unending politics of River State. Like politics of River State is calendar year, every other day happens. So let me bring in the senator who represented River Southeast, Senator Olaka Wogo, joining us virtually, and also bring in Mr. Yaye Theophilus, who is an IYC leader. Gentlemen, thank you so much for Alaye Theophilus, who is an IYC leader. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you, distinguished. You know, after we saw the peace deal, the cameras, the conversation, my colleague Shen had even interviewed the honorable minister, asked him what is the deal. Where I say, you don't know, don't bother about it. We're good, no problem. We saw all of that. We saw some level of reconciliation, but right now it looks like the fireworks are back again. Senator, what is going on with the Rivers politics?
Okay, Jeff, good evening and good evening to all the viewers and a happy new year to everyone. I think basically what's happening, as unfortunate as it is the consequence of when leaders do not keep their words and their commitment. Recall that there was initially a first agreement that Mr. President brokered because of lack of adherence to that agreement by the governor of the state. That agreement packed up. They said the president had no right to do that, even if we all subjected ourselves to that agreement. That's the 8-point plan. And these events that developed out of it culminated even in the Supreme Court judgment that said there was no governance in River State. And then Mr. President had to impose to save the state from descending into anarchy. Mr. President had to impose the emergency. After the emergency or during that period, there were discussions across the state to find political harmony. And when the leaders amongst ourselves agreed, we all took ourselves to Mr. President. And again, another understanding was brokered, which Mr. President was like a guarantor to that understanding. It's also being adhered to in the breach again. The governor is breaching it. He knows he's breaching it. And it's the reason why you're seeing what is happening is strictly the lack of adherence to agreements. And you cannot run a state like River State if you are not capable of adhering to the commitments that you make. It's a complex state. It's a peculiar state. Most people do not understand. They think River State is just any place. It's a place where there are so many diverse people and interests, and to put all of them together under one roof, there are understandings by which we move. Unfortunately, all the agreements have been flouted by the governor at one time or the other.
Senator, my apologies because of time. My apologies. If you can keep our responses short so that I can ask as many questions as possible. I'll come to Mr. Theophilus in just a moment. What is this agreement? From what we can gather, please correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like there was an agreement that similarly Wike-Fubara will not be running for second term. Is that the bone of contention here?
Well, that is part of it, because that was clearly Wike-Fubara himself spoke by himself. I was in that meeting with the president, and the governor spoke himself. And he said, this is the agreement we have reached. There were a number of issues. There were contentions. There were people who were seen to be disruptive to the polity. They were to be excused from the process. There were the understanding of what role the governor will play and what role the minister will play for the harmony of the state, as we agreed amongst ourselves. And the governor himself affirmed those understandings, including his own commitment. Recall that he went to his people in church and told them that his spirit had left even government house at that time. And he told them that they don't even know what his Oga had done for him, which was the FCT minister. And he said a few things which alluded to the fact that he was working out something, and the people, you know, in fact, he was almost aggressive to his people that there was nothing like same movement and all that, they should stop. So coming back now to build another group and to start tensing the whole place up, and there were core things that the state is taking in direct conflict with the agreements he reached. And
all right.
it's up to him.
All right, Senator. Distinguished, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Let me bring in Theophilus, because I don't know whether you actually answered my question. I was direct with my question, but you answered it in a way, but I'm trying to hold on to something. Mr. Theophilus, you heard the senator said there was an agreement. I put it straight to him to say, did the agreement include Senator Governor Wike-Fubara not running for a second term? Because we can only speculate. We're not in those rooms. What do you know about this?
Thank you very much. You know, first of all, let me appreciate the senator for telling the world that there were some forms of agreement between the governor and the leader of Rivers State, who happens to be the FCT minister. But basically, those agreements were done while they were in the PDP. You know, Mr. President, as the leader of the country and the leader of APC, when the former speaker or the incumbent speaker of Rivers State made a declaration that he has crossed carpets to the APC and that the PDP is taking them to court, what was the statement of Mr. President? That he has new sons that have come to his party, that there is no way he will deny them. He will accommodate them and also allow them to operate as APC members in Rivers State before they went back to tell the world that they didn't cross carpets to the APC at then. Today, the governor of Rivers State has moved to the APC as a new son of Mr. President. And if Mr. President feels that I have a new son, and in the APC constitution, we believe that every first-term governors are given the free will to go for a second term, as being enshrined in the APC constitution. I believe that the people of Rivers State should abide to that. It's what Mr. FCT minister is doing in Rivers State and what even this senator have just said. We have also come to understand that in politics, so many persons ought not to be in the political space for corridor. Like what our senator just said. It's very clear that Rivers State, some persons are now turning politics into business. Ask my senator. I don't want to take it because I'm not holding brief for the governor of Rivers State. But as a youth leader that has the interest of stability and peace in the Niger Delta, Rivers State inclusive, why would you say that there were agreements in the previous process of those agreements as a people representative representing the people in the Senate? Did you went to his constituency to call for a meeting, town hall meeting, that look, this is what and what we don't want from the listen? That's never happened. These people just go to the Abia Palo where they are sharing whiskey, sit down and believe that they will just come and impose things on Rivers people. Rivers people, the masses have made it very clear. Team is their mandate. And if he's coming for second term, they will be giving him the needed support. So any person that is not ready, don't even go. Wike is the leader of the PDP in Rivers State, and at the level of the national, he should float a candidate from the PDP and go and challenge. Why will you tell somebody not to contest when the party which he has crossed carpet to has given him the opportunity?
All right.
That every first.
All right, Mr. Theophilus, let me come in here. Distinguished, I'll come back to you, but I'll need to take a break. So he's made a point that perhaps there was an agreement. I don't know. We're not in the room. Distinguished, you say you were in those rooms when those agreements were made. But that agreement was when they were in the PDP. Now it's joined the APC. In fact, I'm seeing a statement credited to the APC National Secretary. So I can't quote what was said because I'm not sure. But it looks like the National Working Committee and the national leadership of the APC want the man for run for a second term. So I'm going to ask you some questions about this issue of agreement prior to his former party and now his new party. But that will be after this break. Join us again. Welcome back. I have with me distinguished Senator Lakanwogo, who represented Rivers State in the Senate, and also Alai Theophilus, an IYC leader. Senator, I was coming to you. He has raised the point, but let me go back. In addition to your response to him, I guess you heard what he said. His point is that maybe that agreement existed, perhaps, when he was in the PDP, but now he's in the fold of the president. And I'm seeing statements credited to some leaders of the APC saying, look, the man is good to go. He has a right to whatever ambition he wants. But I don't know whether you're asking me directly, whether he clearly stated that I Similarly, Fubara will not be running for second term. Now, if he chooses to run, then what happens?
Well, I think basically, first of all, let me react to my colleague on the show now. I will encourage him to, as much as possible, refrain from gutter language when he talks people sitting in beer parlor and all that. These matters are bigger than that level. I don't know who you are, but it's the interference of certain people too that have made this reverse issue almost intractable. They don't know the facts. They come on TV and they start talking. If agreements are reached at the level of Mr. President and continually somebody breaches them, then the person that expects to be trusted. If you have problem with what is going on, then you should query why is it happening. When Fubara was brought out as candidate, you were not there. You had nothing to do with that process. And there were reasons why Fubara was brought up. It was because he was to continue the great works Wike had done. Wike had built Rivers State like no other. And we are all patriots. We want Rivers State to be a better place. There's no governance now in Rivers State. Nothing is happening because the governor puts himself in the place where he has to fight political battles rather than run government, which was the understanding. Nobody's interfering with him in the running of government. Concentrate on your government. If you want to do politics, very well. But understand that you committed yourself to understand this on the political front. This battle, most of you characterize it, Minister Wike versus Fubara. No. The battle got to the Supreme Court. It was between the State Assembly and the governor. It's between people who should help us administer the state. He completely emasculated the State Assembly to the level that the Supreme Court berated him for being an autocrat. And this current problem started with the State Assembly again. It is he who has refused to run government. Instead, he tries to play politics and is unable to do it well. You reach understanding before Mr. President. You didn't keep it at first. Second time, you were on your knees asking for people to show you understanding. Again, after that, he was insulting even his own supporters, if you recall. Before the lifting of the state of emergency, he was shouting on his own supporters. Now he gets back to office and he's doing exactly the same thing. Because certain characters will not let him be what he's supposed to be.
Distinguished, my apologies, distinguished. My apologies, distinguished. I do not want to cut your trail of thought. I would like an express answer, since we have the privilege of having you as being in these rooms. Did similarly Fubara say he will not be running for second term as a condition for peace? You haven't given me that answer.
I would have loved him, or maybe with due respect, Mr. President or the minister to be the people to answer this. But I can tell you, as somebody who was at that meeting, I heard him say clearly, because after the meeting with the State Assembly and also with some elders, based on the prevailing circumstance at that time, he came up and he said clearly, I shall have no interest in any further elections, I shall not run again. And they were parts of the basis for which a political solution was reached in the state. And I recall, those who want to jump into this matter, you are free because it's politics, everybody can come in. But dignity is everything. If a man has integrity and he goes to reach understandings, he will keep it. Don't agree to what you cannot keep. And when you agree to something, keep it. Otherwise, how can people work with you? So when you see other people reacting in certain ways, they are proper people. But in good conscience, they brought this man and made him governor. Continually, everything has been in the breach. And this has nothing to do with money.
All right.
It's basically about integrity and how to make the state a better place. Our commitment.
All right, distinguished. Because of time, my apologies, distinguished. I will need to cut in again. My apologies, distinguished. I will need to cut in again because of time. Mr. Theophilus, as we begin to wind down, so when it comes in years on Wike, there's a love and hate relationship for him. There are people that love him, adore him. There are people that hate him, that don't want to see him. But he has the popular phrase, agreement is agreement. There are people that say, why do you even have a business deciding for a governor? But if there's an agreement, there is an agreement. As Senator Nwogwa said, he made an agreement that, look, I'm not interested in this anymore. Let's just get this over with within this time. Is that not a fair reason for the minister to be holding on to his position and grandstanding, by the way, because of what he heard the governor say, as said by the senator?
You are to a larger extent correct. Agreement ought to be an agreement. That is if what you are agreeing to is within your power. You know, if you want to give someone your land, then that land is not attached to your brothers and other relatives. You can give it freely. But the mandate in question was given to the governor by Rivers people. And the Rivers people are telling him that he is doing marvelously well and that you shouldn't allow just 1% of those that believe that they are the power that be in Rivers State to tell him not to contest. So they should go and fight the Rivers people, those that have given the governor the mandate. That is by the way. Then secondly, you know, we are practicing a democratic system of government where leadership, governors, assembly, governor, and all the rest are elected based on majority, simple majority. So when these people are telling you that somebody made him governor, you begin to wonder if at all the governor of the state is now an appointed office where somebody will just sit in his house and appoint. This is the same person that we are talking about was fighting against the incumbents at the time where some of we transfer our polling units to Rivers State to make sure that we vote for
It's really bad.
We were believing that there were issues at that particular point in time, and he needed our support. Today, that same man has made another person through party primaries and general election to be governor, and he's telling us that because the people and through the party selection process, he played a pivotal role. For that singular reason, he appointed him. Can he provide 6 million votes in Rivers State? Rivers people voted for this man in question. So if he has any issue, let him as an individual float a candidate. In fact, he should bring an independent party to challenge the man and let the Rivers people decide to do.
All right, Ms. Ala,
yes.
We're totally out of time.
In fact, even this action that he's carrying out.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we're totally...
He doesn't want Mr. President to succeed.
We're totally out of time, gentlemen. It's an ongoing conversation. Senator, I wish I could take your last word, but I'm told I do not have any much time on the show today.
Can I just say something?
10 seconds. 10 seconds is all I have, Senators. 10 seconds.
First of all, he's an IYC man and a German. Fubara is governor today, even if he comes from the least local government by population in Rivers State because of Nyesom Wike. Now, in spite of everything that has happened, Nyesom Wike has been calm. He has gone through the whole process. The court came up, the president came up. Meetings were held with Mr. President.
Senator, I need to button.
Yes.
I need to button.
You can't
my apologies, Senator.
Agreements and treat them like you didn't go anywhere, like they mean nothing.
Senator, I must thank you so much for coming on the program. My total apologies because I need to go now. Senator Olaka Wogo is Senator who represented Rivers State in the Nigerian Senate. Also, Alai Theophilus, a leader in IYC. Gentlemen, my apologies for the time, but that's the much we can take. Thank you for coming on the program.